Hi everyone, here to do a little bit of thesis work with you if you want to. So we're going to review what your thesis statement for Essay 1 needs to have in it, the basic requirements, the basic proposals that you'll be making and then proving in the body of the essay. And then we're going to look at some sample thesis statements and say whether they are either working, which you see is in green, or not working, which you see is in red. And we'll also highlight um, the ones in green or in red, depending on whether they're working or not working. Okay, so your thesis statement for this essay needs to make two different proposals. The first one is that there are at least two different points of view regarding the right to be forgotten. The second is a solution, a way forward. How do you balance the need for people to be able to move on from their past with the need for the public to sometimes know of something that someone was involved in or something that happened? Okay, so here are our samples. The first one, while some say we make the bed we sleep in and therefore don't deserve to edit our pasts, others, correctly, feel that we deserve to move on from those pasts. Okay, I'm going to give you a minute to think about it, and then I'm going to say a few words about this one. Okay, I'm very curious about whether you said it was working or not working. And I'm going to tell you that my assessment of this thesis statement is that it is not working. What I see when I read this is the first part of what is required. Two different points of view regarding the right to be forgotten. There's two different points of view. Some say we make the bed that we sleep in and don't deserve to edit our pasts. That's one point of view. Others say that we deserve to move on from those pasts. That's another point of view. So I've got my 2 points of view, but I'm missing an entire proposal. There is no solution here. So I'm going to highlight this one in red. Next, I believe we all have a right to be forgotten because we all make mistakes as a youth. What we really need to do is teach our young people about the dangers of the internet. Okay, so take a moment, remember what it is that this thesis statement has to have in it, and see if it has everything that it needs and if there's anything that makes it not work. All right, I'm going to jump in with an assessment here. Right away, I see something that makes every thesis statement not work, which is the phrase I believe, or I feel, I think. Those make your thesis statement inarguable, and your thesis statement is an argument, so it has to be an arguable statement. So that's part of the problem here. But hopefully you also identified another problem. We all make mistakes, that we all have the right to be forgotten because we make mistakes. What I'm hearing there is one point of view regarding the right to be forgotten, but I'm not seeing a second point of view. But I do have a solution here. What we really need to do is teach our young people about the dangers of the internet. So it uses I believe and is missing one point of view about the right to be forgotten. So this one's going to be highlighted in red. A thesis statement has to make all the proposals in order to work. So now I'm down here on number 3. Have you ever heard of something called the right to be forgotten? It's an important topic in today's world. I didn't give you a lot of time for that one because I'm hoping that it's immediately clear that this one does not make any of the required proposals. I do not hear two different points of view regarding the right to be forgotten, and I don't hear a solution. And one other important point is you really cannot ask a question in a thesis statement or a topic sentence. Those are places for you to make your argument and present your idea. So you don't want to give up any power by turning that into a question. So I'm going to highlight this one in red. While some say the right to be forgotten gives people a way to move on from their past lives, others insist that the loopholes it creates are too dangerous. To strike a balance between these points of view, we should create a set of guidelines for when the right should be triggered. Okay, take a moment and see if there are, see if that meets the requirements here. Does it make both proposals? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and jump in with an assessment. What I see here is a thesis statement that is working. I see that one point of view is that the right to be forgotten gives people a way to move on. I see another point of view that the loopholes are too dangerous. And I see a solution, a way to balance the one side with the other side. So I'm seeing everything that is required in this from the prompt. And so this thesis statement is working. It doesn't matter how you word your thesis statement if you have met the requirements. So you might look at this and think, I wouldn't say it that way, or I don't like the style of the writing. But that doesn't matter. A perfect thesis statement only needs to meet the requirements of the prompt in order to be perfect. That's the only requirement that is there. Okay, and here's one last one that I want to talk about. There are many points of view when it comes to the right to be forgotten. Fortunately, there is a way forward. So I'm curious about what you think about this one. Okay, I'm guessing that many people feel like this one doesn't work. It doesn't make specific points of view. It doesn't tell about two specific points of view. It just says there are many points of view. And it doesn't give a specific solution. It just says there is a way forward. However, I still call this green. It's still working. Some people don't like to give away all of their arguments in their thesis statement, and some people do. So you just have to decide which style works for you. Do you like the kind like we had up here, where the writer is basically sharing the roadmap with the reader? Or are you more the kind of person who wants to share the basics, but keep the details of the journey to yourself so that the reader will discover them in the body paragraph? Either of these ways is perfect. Both of these thesis statements are perfect. Okay? All right, that's it. Thank you guys.